afternoon, and welcome back to another episode of Hope Alive on Obidati Family TV. Una already know say na updates we go dey give una back to back. Well, today we get some few headlines where we go to pinpoint for una today. We go to talk about the Electoral Act as stipulated by the law. We go to talk about the process of the election, that's the electoral process, and how they were violated in this 25th February election which just happened. So we go talk about the relevant provisions of the Electoral Act, and we go also look into that perjury case. You know that perjury case where we don't dey talk since. We go still touchlight them small. The perjury case against Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So now all these things we go look into today with many other things. So you go just stay with us as we enter inside the video. My name is Peace Obiekwe, and the person who there with me here today is Mr. Kanu.
Our Nigerians are welcome again today. I greet you well. As we don't come today, make we talk waiting the warriors for this our country. Every day we go bring the thing as it take be, make we for the understand how matter they work out for court for this very presidential election issue where we get. And not only me and Peace Day here, we get Dr. Talbot, who is our public affairs analyst, and also Madam Juliet, who is UK-based obedient. One of our people will be saying that then they support us well for here, then they follow our matter, and then they listen to waiting, they pay Nigerians were there for Nigeria Gongo. So today, we will go straight to the point. If you follow us yesterday, we are going to say, we talk many things about waiting Inec carry respond for P2B's petition. For their paragraph 50, 51, 53, we dissect the thing, we open them, how the thing take be. So today, we won't follow up from that very thing because we don't see many people where they don't begin the talk. People for high, important people, Sam, and that is senior advocate of Nigerians, barristers, solicitors of the Supreme Court. When we say that they talk the same thing when they talk. And the thing when they talk say the process will bring about that result where they give Ahmed Tinubu of APC, you know they're correct. The perjury where they follow for EC form from 9 of Inec, all those things, we will touchlight all of them. So, and we're not going to hear from the people themselves as they go explain those things. But like I said yesterday, I said there's a banner where we say I want always make this banner, make we the display them, make we begin to share this banner. Make we cut them out, they share. And the reason why they talk say make we they put this banner, they show and they say it is simple enough for people to understand. On that 25th of February 2023, Beaver's malfunction is non-controversial. It's not controverted, meaning INEC themselves agree say almost everywhere where there are people they no fit upload EC8 form. That one where we say they contain results, they no fit upload them. Then call them glitches. And this banner, as we put on there, say as that very thing malfunction, the polling unit result was not transmitted to IREF and to any other electronic format where they want carry and go, because the law talks say they must transmit that result even before collation. Before you go reach collation, say now that one where they don't transmit from the polling unit level, now you go look. Then you go come look the one where be manual. And then you go come conclude, say, whether dispute day or dispute no day. So you can come talk, say, this one don't pass. that transmission no happen. Wetin happen na the manual one where dem comot. Many people allege say dem go rewrite the result. No be only say they allege. If you go to the IREF, the ones wey be say dem upload letter, e dey inside there. If you bring that out, you go see the one wey be say dem don cancel, change the result. But if to say dem do am as the law talk, make dem for transmit am, the person wey go collect am go see say dem don tamper with am. So na im we dey talk say this banner dey talk say that election no go hold. But no be only say e no go hold. People, different people, both PDP, LPO, everybody dey talk say dem win the election. But that very process na im be our standard form and format wey we dey bring out come say that very process as Inec talk say their guidelines say go work, e no work like that. So this morning we go start with as their own case wey their response don dey fall apart for the for election tribunal, because wetin dem dey respond there e no work. So, but I want make una listen, make we start with before Dr. Tebbat go come in, make una listen to wetin Festus Okoye from Inec talk again. Make una hear wetin him talk. Very briefly, then we go begin the talk from there. I beg, make una help me with that this thing from Festus Okoye. His live broadcast on Channels Television.
Also ask you about, eventually when results were uploaded, people were complaining that, what were the results at their polling unit centers were not the results that were uploaded for them. I do not know whether, in its own audit, if the commission will take those instances into cognizance to investigate, what could have caused, in some instances, outright mutilation of result sheets, and perhaps find out from its officers in those instances what happened there, and if there are infractions that have been committed, perhaps prosecute them. Is this something that the commission will be willing to take on?
Definitely. But we are going to conduct this review, and this review will be very thorough. But we must also be very careful about just relying on social media narration on this election. And I'm still saying that we should be careful about reducing the entire 2023 election to the issue of result upload relating only to the presidential election. Okay. Members of the National Assembly elected, we gave some of them certificates yesterday. Some of them confessed that they are in the National Assembly because of the beavers. Some of them confessed that ordinarily that they were not even near the National Assembly if things were done the way they were done before. So I think that significant things and fundamental things have happened in this election, and we must acknowledge the gains we have made, and then look at the challenges and the problems, and then deal with them, so that our electoral process can continue.
When will this audit take place?
The moment we are through with with the elections.
That's
No, we are not through with the. We are still giving certificates. We gave so many certificates yesterday, and there are some who went for lesser Hajj and are yet to come back to collect their certificates. Okay. And so we still have one or two issues to sort out.
Do you know when that will be? When will the review take place? The audit?
When the commission has to take a decision on that. No decision has been taken.
So, as I take here from Festus Okoye for National TV, in talk say the people from the National Assembly, like the senators and the House of Rep members, in talk say then they happy on a hearing. The happiness with them days, it talk say this if no be say beavers transmit their result automatically, say them for no near National Assembly, they for no even smell them. Now, make we look at the other way. The person will be say in the vie for the highest office of the land, no get the same benefits. And that's why we are here today. And somebody will come out and say that it does not substantially affect the outcome of results. The result when they announce for that very day, the law they very clear when they say if that very law, that very result is not transmitted directly from the polling unit for the purposes of collation, that it will not work. As a matter of fact, it says if the beavers malfunction, that very particular unit must be cancelled. Dr. Talbot, let's start with you before Madam Juliet comes in.
So I greet today, and I am happy that I am in this program. We have heard so much of double speak from Oga Festus Okoye. But one thing we say I like well from Oga Festus Okoye, we say, as in the double speak, in the still they indict himself. Why do I say so? Because he kept referring to how the electoral law, the following of the rules, brings legitimacy, one, brings confidence to participants, and gives hope to Nigeria's democracy. Okay, let us put it this way. We are talking about presidential election. Festus Okoye has been on the national television talking about INEC's respect for rule of law, respect for electoral act, and respect for the INEC guideline that made them declare the REC that did something in Adamawa State as a rogue staff. He's talking about how INEC is doing the right thing they're supposed to do. But have they realized that a governor of a state does not command or control one policeman? A governor of the state, this DSS officer, is not answerable to the governor of a state. The army, no single recruit in the army is answerable to the governor of a state. But the entire armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is answerable to the president. The president appoints the chief of army staff, air staff, naval staff, chief of defense staff. The president appoints even INEC chairman. The president is the chief executive officer of the state, of the country. So let me ask you a question. If INEC decides to obey the law and to be careful, will they not be more careful when it comes to the presidency than when it comes to governorship? Will INEC not be careful to follow the law and do the right thing when it comes to who becomes the commander-in-chief of Nigeria than who becomes the governor of a state? Will they not be more careful who becomes how we elect who is the president of Nigeria than how we elect the senators and members of House of Rep? This particular petition by INEC, the response to Labour Party's petition by INEC and APC, completely falls flat in the face of law. Because even as I am here, I am looking at the Electoral Act is opened on my computer, the manual and guideline issued by INEC themselves is opened on my computer. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is opened on my computer. I don't need to be a lawyer or a judge to see that when the word says ensure, it means that you must make sure that you do such a thing. And all over the Electoral Act, all over the Constitution, all over the guideline, INEC did the opposite. And what is it that they are bringing to the petition? It falls flat in the face of law. And I think we should continue from that place. As we go forward today, you're going to see my own argument why I think that APC does not have a case, INEC does not have a case. We're just wasting Nigerian resources going to court.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ete. Why did they even talk that one? You know, say before election, you get this something when you talk now. still come out from the mouth of this Festus Okoye for the same channel television. Take a listen.
Physical result as handed over to him. He or she will also look at the beavers as handed over, and then look at the from EC8 or the polling unit level result as already transmitted through the IREF, and the accreditation data as already transmitted before entering the scores into from EC8B, which is the registration area result. Now, if there's a dispute relating to the physically transmitted result, so to say, and the electronically transmitted result, by our own regulations and by our own guidelines and procedures, the electronically transmitted data and the electronically transmitted result will take precedence.
Him talking, no, we can't hear Okoye, Mr. Okoye.
But they're feeding into their system.
All right, okay.
Now that we are back, I guess we had what Okoye Festus is explaining there is even before, that was before the election. And what he was bringing there is the process that has to do with the guideline, which has to do with transmission of results from the polling units. Now, the electoral process violations were very, very clear. And if we look at the sections that are in this in the process that BVAT malfunctioned, I think section 47, so that we understand what we are talking about there. Now, this is what you are trying to explain. And I see that you are sharing your screen as at that time. You can see exactly what you are talking about and the section it comes from and what it says. Correct? Okay. Now, as we proceed further, before we get to Madam Juliet, we had or had a senior advocate of Nigeria and somebody who had attained the position of the Minister of Justice, who also says the process Inec used is against their guideline and is also against the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Take a listen. Andoka, former Minister of Justice.
I'm glad you talked about the procedure or the process and the reason why we have had so many uproars or challenges post-elections, because when the process isn't clear or isn't fair or isn't deemed to be fair, then you would have a number of people challenge the result of that process. But I want you to focus on the role of the judiciary. Nigeria, there's a trust deficit in the judiciary, especially amongst Nigerians and even politicians who are petitioning the courts. How do you think we can change what might be a perception or the truth? How can we begin to reform, change, and ensure that we restore that institution of the judiciary?
Thank you. Maybe the emphasis has been more on us lawyers that present our petitions. And the judges cannot go otherwise than what is requested of them to interpret. In most times, we go to court and we say at the conclusion, declare us the winner because we won majority or lawful votes. Basically, the judge will not concern himself to look at the lawful votes and who has majority of the lawful votes. And we restrict. But we have not, but I believe some of the petition presented him as we have not say nullify election on the grounds that procedure is not followed. To give the courts an opportunity to come out and say, look, you say this have to be done before if election will be said credible. You have not done it, so nullify the elections on those grounds. Most of the petitioners and us, our desire is to become the winner. So what we canvass in the court is what the court gives out. But I say maybe we lawyers that go to court, and when we feel, because sometimes we fear to attack the procedure, which is corrupted, because if we do that, we also will not be declared the winner. Election will have to be done afresh. But the procedure is as important than the result, or as important as the result, because a corrupt procedure has already corrupted the electoral process and then violates the Constitution, because there cannot be a fair and fair election. If, for instance, if they say, INEC, open your polling unit at this hour, voting should be done like this. And then people stay on the queue in that area. Nothing has been brought. And the next day there's a result with votes on it. Is the procedure followed? The result is there, but the procedure is not followed. If I next say, look, I want to declare my result, and makes regulation that if I finish at the polling unit, I will declare result there. I will transmit the result first. Then I will take the result to the collation center. And INEC does not do that. Has he followed the procedure? These are the minor things we have to try to clean the system, because you cannot build a house without a foundation.
Okay.
Take the issue of Adamawa.
Okay.
So let me finish. Take the issue of Adamawa.
Yes, sir.
Look at how the procedure was about to be violated. And let me commend the RIs and other news channels that rose to say condemn it, went viral, and they have to come back and do the right thing. But the issue was that don't care. Once it is announced, you go to court. Violating the procedure. You are not the returning officer. Returning officer, I joined collation to 11 o'clock. And then you, who is not a returning officer, comes by 9 and announces result. But that is something that attaches to the procedure. And quickly arise with the forefront, channels, and made sure that this is wrong, this is morally wrong. And INEC came and did the right thing by following the procedure. So in most cases, procedure is there, which could have given us a good result, but it is not followed. When the result comes out, we as lawyers go to court to challenge the outcome who has majority. We never seriously attack the procedure. And this is time we should lay a solid foundation in this country. Look at the procedure. What made you to change from what you did? Because the moment you change the procedure, you want to do a thing. And the Supreme Court have said in several cases that if there's a procedure of doing a thing and you deviate from that procedure, the end result you got should be vitiated. So if there's procedure for doing an election and if suddenly it is deviated, don't we think it is important for us as lawyers to go to attack this procedure and make sure that next time the right thing is done?
I mean, Puka,
if we go to say, look,
I mean, it's a great place you landed it, because I just wanted to take you on that journey of your thought process now by also saying, and I earlier...
So, Madam Juliet, I hope say you did here. You are waiting this former Attorney General talk say the process. You say some people as we they talk, they know they follow the process. Then we just go court, begin the talk, say then declare them winner. So as in the talk here now, make you just chook your mouth for insiders because as waiting in talk here, the process 9 people be the challenge. And at that very place, there be the major issue. As they know what they supposed do, now this one they talk saying that place even corruption there inside. And people know they look that side, they just want to make them declare, say them be winner. But we should look at the process because it is the process that will show that those things were wrong.
Like waiting, they talk right from the one. It's all about the process. Now the process, now people they bothered about. If the process was followed right from the one, I don't think say we go able to drag this case go court. But now because the process was not followed, now it make people they carry this case go court up and down. That is what that man still said. Say because the process was flawed, that was why there was no good result at the end result of that election. If the process was clear, edible, and very, how will I put it, transparent, all these things not going to happen. You understand? That is why we still say now judiciary now, because they don't do what they want to do. They don't say go to court. Now judiciary now our last hope. They need to do the right thing. Even that man said it, that they should look at the process, not even the end result. The process, how was it? Was it okay? Was it transparent? Was it what Inec told us over and over? Say now waiting they won't do. Say everything go there for their portal. We go there see and live from in real time. That was not what was done. So that's why we go see the best judiciary, and we have to keep on talking, keep on talking, keep on talking. Now we not relent. Number one, may therefore do this case before the swearing in. Even if they not fit do it before the swearing, they should start up something. Like what that Dakoba said. If they start up something, it might not even reach to that election process. They go disqualify who they want to disqualify and tell me they do the rerun again. Make them do them again. But this is what we are begging for. This is what we are telling them, the judiciary, to do the right thing, because the whole world is watching them now. They should really do the right thing. That is what I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, I will still get back to you. Make you never wrong, come out. You will give us another 10 minutes. Make Dr. Telbat keep a mark for waiting former Attorney General of the Federation take talk, because and that one just very brief, Dr. Tel, so that we'll go back to that very perjury. Because General, he talk something about this perjury will go surprise you. He go surprise you. So, but make you chook my waiting in talk for this one before we get to waiting in talk about perjury, waiting Tinubu commit.
You see, waiting Oga Andoaka SAN said is very, very, very important. And I am glad that the very first press interview that P2B gave, he said, if someone must be called Your Excellency, the process must be excellent. Now, INEC decided to reject a result that was declared by their own rec because it is against process, procedure, and guidelines. The declaration of result and the returning of a candidate as the winner at the state level is the responsibility of the returning officer. Now, I have looked at the presidential election and I am looking at, I don't know if it is possible to share my screen. If it is possible, I just want to point something here. As I am looking at my screen here, there is a definition from the Electoral Act, the definition of who is the presiding officer. It says, it means the person appointed by the commission that is in charge of the conduct of election in a polling unit. And then I go to the manual that was put out there by INEC themselves says, the presiding officer, PO, ballot paper, the duties, it says, presiding officer is in charge of all activities at the polling unit on election day, including the polling, the sorting, the counting of votes, as well as the announcement of election results. Take note of the word on election day. Now, if you scroll down all the duties of the presiding officer and you come down to number 9, no, number 10, here, number 16, it says, one of the duties of the presiding officer is to paste the completed publication of results, result poster, ECA 60 at the polling unit Now, 17 says, transmit accreditation data using the beavers. 18 says, upload a scanned copy of the EC8A and electronically transmit the election results as prescribed in the regulation and guidelines for the conduct. Now, if you go to this same guideline in section 38, it says that, I am done with my sharing, please. It says that the presiding officer should use the beavers, snap the result, and upload it to the IREF on election day. And after he has done doing that, he can now take the beavers, take the result, the physical copy, and take it to the collation officer on election day, which means the guideline, the law, and everything says that the uploading of the result must be done, 1, on election day, and 2, by the presiding officer, and 3, from the polling units. Anything outside of these 3 procedures violates the Electoral Act, the guidelines, and according to what Oga Andoaka is saying, the Supreme Court has said before now that both the Act and the guidelines derives their power from the Constitution. The returning officer of the returning officer of the presidential election, which is also the chief collation officer of the presidential election, is the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. And according to section 60 of this same Electoral Act, it says, when there is a dispute, that collation officer must first of all stop whatever he's doing, check what is on the beavers, check what is on the physical result he's going to announce, and check what is on the IREF. The Inec chairman did not do it. So he violated the procedure. He violated the guidelines. If they want to uphold what happened in Adamawa State, then they have to annul what happened in the presidential, because they cannot choose and pick. I've said it here. They choose and pick in Adamawa. They choose and pick in the presidential. Just like when they went to Enugu, they arbitrarily reduced the number of Enugu state governorship election to favor a political party, which is against the law. So INEC is going to the court, to the petition, Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, to do what? To come and use our money to tell us that they carried out a balkanization of the guidelines, the Electoral Act, or what? Like Juliet rightly said, we are looking up to the judiciary. And sincerely speaking, I think this time around, while we are waiting for the judiciary to do their own, this issue of perjury, like you're talking, I think we even need to start something. I think we have a right as individuals to even initiate a legal procedure to that effect. Because as long as the petition of APC and the petition of and the counter, the one by INEC is concerned, it completely falls flat if you subject it to the Electoral Act. And let me say this. We keep making the mistake by saying, oh, Festus Okoye, INEC chairman, on several occasions, they made promises. They do not have any promise to make. They have a law to obey. There is an Electoral Act handed over to the INEC chairman. He is supposed to follow it. That same Electoral Act is what guided the submission of names of candidates. That is what guided the issue of party primaries and co. He cannot just all of a sudden decide to say, I don't like it, and I stop midway. He's not Father Christmas. He's a lawful employee of Nigeria who was employed by Nigeria to obey the law of Nigeria, and they violated it.
Okay. Dr. Tebe, thank you very much. Now that you have mentioned the perjury, some people really don't understand the main import of perjury in our criminal system and how it works. But like I said on our discussion this morning, knowledge is said to be power. However, it is when you apply the knowledge you have that it has power. Now, let's look at the knowledge that has been gotten from this very perjury issue. As we know, it seems like the petition of P2B does not have this, because this just came either last week or thereabout, and may not have been included on that very petition. But let's take a listen to what the former justice proffered as an advice, that we have a limited time to pursue that very perjury matter. Please take a listen to this. Madam Juliet, I'm coming over to you immediately after this.
Another aspect of this matter is the fact that he might have perjured, because in his Form EC9 form, where he declared that he hadn't taken on voluntary citizenship of another country, he had indicated no. Could this be a matter, even though there's that question around who can prosecute, who can take up the matter, and would there be a willingness to do so in this case of a president-elect?
Well, if he did that, that is perjury. And the state is at the liberty of the state to do what? But mind you, if no action is taken before 29 of May, he will have the immunity, and he cannot be prosecuted. But that, perjury is not a ground of a petition, because our position is clear. The grounds of a valid petitions are contained in the Constitution and the Electoral Act. And I want to point out to you that if a ground exists in the Electoral Act which is in conflict with the ground specified for qualification or disqualification in the Constitution, that of the Electoral Act we have of no moment. But of course, the Electoral Act has not introduced any other ground except the grounds and requirements of qualification and disqualification contained in the Constitution. Therefore, perjury is not there, so there's nothing you can do about it. And let me also go further to the issue of criminality. The criminality specified in the Constitution relates to a period which involved dishonesty, relates to a period of 10 years. Even if you are convicted in the Nigerian court or anywhere. And once you are not serving a jail term, that is, if you are serving a jail term, the 10-year grace is not applicable to you, because you cannot come from prison to be a president. The Constitution says if you are serving a jail term and it's more than 10 years, you still be in a jail, you can't contest president. But if your conviction, after the conviction, 10 years has elapsed, you can still contest in the Nigerian election. Because if you go, you cannot expand anything that is specified in the Constitution that as a requirement for contesting an election of a presidential level or any election conducted by Inec. You cannot subtract anything from disqualification. That is the position of the law. When the Constitution specifies condition precedent, you cannot come and introduce another extraneous matter. It must be there. If there's a disqualification specified in the Constitution, you cannot add. So perjury is not one of the grounds there. I'll give you an instance. People were being disqualified on the ground of not paying tax. But when the matter went up to Supreme Court, or Court of Appeal in some instances, tax was not a requirement in the Constitution. Tax was not a requirement in the Constitution. All those judgments were obtained because it was not part of the Constitution. So perjury, as in this case, is a state matter. And but why, I was a minister of justice. Sometimes lawyers may not go to court because you don't know what the state may do. Assuming now the Attorney General say, okay, this is perjury, I'm charging you to court. Trial may not take just 1 month. Before you start the trial, 2 adjournments or 1 adjournment, or before arraignment, 29th of May will come in. You, as a prosecutor, you are stuck in because there's nothing you can do. The immunity is absolute.
So, in a nutshell, waiting in talk for perjury, be say na state matter. And as you know, enter the petition, now be say na Attorney General or through the normal court process, now this perjury issue fit come up. And in talk again, say between now and 29th, if we did not take action, especially on the perjury issue, that the president-elect, if inaugurated, will be covered by immunity. Now, this means that if it is not in the petition and we need to take action as far as the perjury is concerned, with the knowledge that we have, we can, start that process immediately. He also said that the time is of essence. So, Madam Juliet, before we run commot, I don't know whether you still there.
Yeah, I still
because we don't talk to some of our lawyers, so we say when they're close to Abuja. I discussed with some senior advocate of Nigeria, and some of them, they said, the way for us moving forward is to immediately initiate a proceedings and engage the states. In this case, meaning say the Attorney General's office or the Minister of Justice. We'll start from there and then take the process immediately. Before the inauguration, we see if the effort that has been done as far as the perjury issue is concerned. So having discussed with these people, I think we as obedient and as a good Nigerians everywhere across the country, I think we need to join our heads and hands together to see how we could be able to push forward on this perjury issue, so that even the person who brought out that very allegation will at least have some sort of peace that somebody over here tried on that. So it's more of calling for us to see if there's a way for us to help push this process. Or what do you think?
Can I go first, please? Because I need to rush this time.
Yes, the Inec perjury form that he did, or we're talking about, is actually on the screen. It's where he was asked on those forms whether he had any citizenship before, and he said no. And they continuously asked whether he had any allegiance with any country, and he said no. So that is the perjury we're talking about, and how you think we can be able to push this forward. Thank you.
All right. Like we don't hear him. It's just that it's so unfortunate that this one come at this time. It didn't come earlier on. If not, they will put them through. But nevertheless, it doesn't still stop us from doing anything or taking actions. Because like waiting they talk, perjury na very big crime. You understand? And one can go to jail for it. It can even disqualify whoever is going for that presidency, which is a plus for us. But like waiting, my brother don't talk, Chidi, Mr. Chidi. Please, we all need to put our heads together now, because this one is still not be federal government go do am. It's going to be AGM from the states. Now I go sort them out. Just give me 1 minute, please. I'm really sorry about that. Like what I'm saying, So since now the state now you go take action, it's not, we cannot put it now for the what Obi and the team is doing now. Is late for that aspect. So we need to fight it out from the state to see if we can try our possible best to stop it from going further, so that this man can go meet him and he not go anywhere more than where he did now, just become the president-elect of Nigeria. So why am I saying this? And as you all know, this thing will still cost money. So I beg everybody, both in diaspora, even wherever we are, whether in Nigeria or wherever, we should put our heads together. May we come together in unity as obedient. I trust all the obedient people. May we come together. May we see how we can raise this fund to start it ASAP as soon as possible through the state AGF, so that they fit stop this man or fit go arrest them. If it also get power, but we don't know who God go use. Say the lawyer where you go use now, God go fit be with that lawyer. Whatever it take to that court, because everything not true, not be saying a lie, not true. So the lawyer go take them off. Then if they feel arrest them, make them go arrest them. Or not, make them still deal with them the way the law will take deal with them. Because perjury is a very, very big crime. So I'm begging everybody, may we put heads together. May we put our heads together. Because we not go just relent. We not go relent. This country where we they talk to, now why country, now the only country where we know Nigeria. We need to fight it tooth and nail to make sure, say, number one, we reclaim our mandate. Number two, whoever they think say if you go do anything and get away with it. This time now for us to rise up and say, no, it's not business as usual. Things go change now. Things have to change because we the youth, we don't wake up from our slumber. Say, no, nobody go use us again like this. Nobody go mess with our life, with our future, and with our children. We need to stand our ground and say enough is enough. So this is the right time now for us to do it and to start as soon as possible before that 29th of May, or even before then, before the end of this May. May we make sure say we do something. Please, I am appealing. We need to put our heads together because it's not going to be cheap. I must tell us the truth. It's not going to be cheap. So nothing is too small. Nothing is too big. Let's put our hands together. Let's take this case from this day. That is what I just have to say and to appeal with you. This man must not go unpunished because of what he has done. You know, now greed and wickedness. Now they worry all these politicians wait there for Nigeria. If not be greed, why will somebody like Tinubu come out and say, I want to be a president of Nigeria when they get healthy people? Even for that APC, they get better person for them. Why must they bring somebody like that to come and punish us again? After Buhari, after Yaradua, another Tinubu, they curse us. Please, we should put our heads together and do something ASAP. I am begging every one of us. Thank you.
Yeah, Madam Julie, thank you very much. What you talk, they're very, very okay. Even as you they talk myself, the lawyer when we and they discuss this very issue, it is saying the Attorney General's office for Abuja. And you know when they talk saying a state matter, it just means say from that very, they go raise fiat from that side, or then go follow from the normal court process. So as we talk, in talk saying they don't begin initiate the discussion. But like you talk, we need support because to fight person will be say then talk say he gets 9 lives. Say na cat with 9 lives. You must carry a long dagger. You know, go begin to fight somebody with saying carry person, go carry king. The fight person will carry this thing. So we need to mobilize funds, and it will have to be quickly because from the knowledge we now have about the timeline for perjury and the immunity that will cover Bola Tinubu if he is eventually inaugurated on the 29th of May, it means we have to move swiftly. Like you said, as soon as possible. our people will be say then they in diaspora will be say they want support for this our move to see if this perjury matter will be taken up immediately. If I go for the description of this our Obidati Family TV, it gets one app where they there where we say no matter where you dey na dollar or na pounds now you want to you can actually use that very cash app. It's called a cash app. You could support. It does not matter whether it's $2, it's $3. It does not matter. What matters is that the lawyers that are going to go there, the people that are going to fight this matter, that are going to follow it up like on each hour till we achieve a reasonable result. Those people must be paid. So if you are also in Nigeria and you have to use the account that we use, we have a Naira account there, which could be used by any of our obedient member to send in support for this noble thing that we want to do. It has to be deployed for the perjury matter so that we expeditiously follow it. Dr. Etel, because of the issue of the urgency of this, we actually asked you to get a cash app that is under Chukwu Agozie's this thing, so that we could actually account for whatever is coming in there through the processes that people will go through the courts and then give account of how those funds went. And again, by weekend, we'll have a secured Zoom meeting where we will discuss about how this process and procedure and accountability should go for this very 1 month period that we have. So, Dr. Tell, I hope you are up to the task to help us make sure that these things work out. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm there. Anything at all that is going to make us deliver Nigeria, let's do it. And let's do it with zeal, let's do it with speed, let's do it with commitment, and let's do it sacrificially. We keep saying, what can I do for Nigeria? Be like my brother said, that $10, £10 is what you need to deliver Nigeria. Bring in your own bit. But let's chase this thing. Let it be that when you stand, you could look back and say, yes, I gave it a push. These are the sacrifices. And hopefully, God will deliver for all of us. Thank you.
Okay. That is the last push that we have as far as our own side is concerned. The perjury matter cannot or may not be able to go this petition, and we have to volunteer sacrifice so that we can push it as the Constitution or the senior lawyers has described it as a state matter that needs to be taken up before the time. So with this, we're expecting our brothers and well-meaning Nigerians to see that we actually did something. Like I said before, they said knowledge is power. But I will tell you again, as I close up, that knowledge is power when you apply the power that you know. That is the knowledge you have when you apply it. We need to apply what we know now as immediate as possible. Peace. As he said, and then they give us signal, make we they go. You know, even check your mouth, make we waka come off for studio. Thank you, Dr. Talbot.
My people,
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Talbot. When I don't hear him say nothing good comes easy. If at all, say we go push this case of perjury, move forward more than it already did, now be say we guys make heavy sacrifice, every one of us, as all of us be obedient, as we be one family together. We go put hands together, we go join heads together, make this thing day possible, make it come to pass. And as Mr. Kanu don't talk anywhere where you dey, this one no be say I know dey Nigeria, or I dey this country, or I dey that country, so you no get anything what I fit do. No be so. You get wetin you go fit do no matter where you dey. So you still, if you go for the description of this video, just below you go see our cash app for there. So anything where you want send us, anyhow where you want take support us, e dey for there. If you still dey Nigeria sef and you want send through Nigerian means, our Nigerian bank account still dey there. Even sef our dollar account still dey for that place. So you no get any excuse say I be wan help, but you no get wetin I fit do. You get wetin you fit do as obedience where you be. So our time don't go. We go just come out for studio, make producer no come pursue us. But you already know wetin we dey talk every time where we come your way. Any video where you see where they come from this platform, Obidati Family TV, make sure say you dey like that video. Make sure say you dey share am. Make other people follow you, they see am. No just keep am to yourself. You no go dey of importance if na only you hear am. So abeg, like the video, share it, comment, share your thoughts. If you get questions, ask us, we go reply you. If you get advice, if you get suggestion, we go still take am. And again, if you never subscribe or you dey watch our video, you no good now, make you subscribe. That button wey dey there, just click the button and turn on the notification bell, so anytime where we drop video, they go alert you for your phone, say we don't show, make you come join us. Anyways, my people, we go still come again tomorrow on top the same platform for the same time again. Come continue wetin we stop today. So until we come your way tomorrow, una bye bye.